What's going on, family? Welcome to another episode of the Seez Monroe Show. I am your host, and today we're here to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, for those who don't know, Spider-Man introduced me to one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe, and that is Blade. So I've always had a deep connection with the wall crawler, but in 2002, the Sam Raimi Trilogy started, and that's where I began my departure. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Now, Spider-Man No Way Home was a solid film, but it had a few setbacks for comic book lovers. Let me explain. We go to see these movies not only because we love the comics, but we love these characters. And sometimes when movies take those little significant things away from those characters, we kind of get pulled away from the storyline as a whole. For instance, when the world finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, or Peter Parker is Spider-Man, he then goes to Doctor Strange for help to make everyone forget. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, Peter asks Doctor Strange for help. When the spell goes wrong, dangerous foes from other worlds start to appear, forcing Peter to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. While casting the spell, Peter Parker interrupts at least 5 times, and that causes some issues. And this is where my gripe started. If anyone knows anything about Doctor Strange, we know that he's more of a responsible adult. So him risking an incursion for a teenager who wants the world to forget who he is, it's probably not going to happen. I already know what you're thinking. This is before Multiverse of Madness, so how do we know that Doctor Strange knows what an incursion is? There's a few hints in the film, and I'll get to that a little bit later. Moving forward, let's get into my second gripe, the Doc Ock fight scene. Now, this fight scene was widely known from the trailer, so I'm guessing we were all excited for it. And one of the problems I had with it was as soon as the fight scene started, the camera went wide. We're seeing all these helicopters, we're seeing all these cars, we're not seeing the actual action. And that kind of took me out of the movie for a second. Now, I don't believe this was the original idea. If you guys don't know what's going on in Hollywood right now, there's like a special effects crisis. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my Thor Love and Thunder spoiler-free review. It should be on there. I kind of explain what's going on with the visual effects artist right now. Remember earlier when I was discussing the certain characteristics of certain individuals? Now, don't get me wrong. Peter Parker is very intelligent. Like, he's not your average teenager. I get it. But outsmarting Doctor Strange in the mirror dimension didn't sit very well with me. As well as his Spidey sense still working with him outside of his body. In all reality, that's just not how things work. An inkling has nothing to do with your brain. It's not really a thought. It's more on the spiritual level. So when Doctor Strange pushed Peter's astral form outside of his body should have never acted to the Spidey sense from that point on. I know. I need to find better things to do with my time. All in all, I give this movie an 8 out of 10. I thought the movie was great. I just felt like it could have been the best movie we've seen as far as comic book films are concerned. Like past Avengers level, past Black Panther, past Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Like, I felt like this movie had all the ingredients to be better than those films, but we didn't get there yet. Now, before I leave, I wanted to touch on something that I said a little earlier. Going back to the Tobey Maguire and the Sam Raimi trilogy, I just felt like it was everything but Peter Parker in those films. I remember being 11 when the movie first came out, going to go see it, and I walked out of that theater upset and confused. Like, I think Scooby-Doo was out at that time, and I was like, I should have just went to see that. It was that bad in my opinion back then. And when I watch it now, it's just worse. I think we fall in love with these movies out of pure nostalgia. Maybe it was our first introduction into comic book films, but no, for me it was like we had Blade in 98. This is our first Marvel superhero, and the movie was great. And then we got this, and I'm looking at it like Blade, Spider-Man. Like, this is top tier. This is your Marvel superhero, and we should have knocked this out of the park. And I don't think we did that. They didn't do this. And Sam Raimi, I don't think, was the best choice for a Spider-Man film. But that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna talk more about that a little later on, especially when I talk about Blade. That's coming soon. But yeah, guys, again, tell me what you think. Go ahead and put it in the comments. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, all right? I appreciate you. Peace. Ooh.